Hey guys, welcome back to the channel, and if you haven't noticed already, there is a big update coming. So today we're going to go over that big update as well as some little updates on all of the cars and projects that we have going on here. Hey guys, welcome back to the garage. I guess if you're new here, then it's not as much of a surprise, but if you've been following along for a little while, then you know that my old YouTube channel name was basically just my name. So it was my first initial B and then Josepher, my last name. So it was very simple. I didn't really put much thought into it. It was really originally supposed to just be like a personal YouTube account. And now I kind of feel like I'm getting to the point where I'm not monetized or anything. I'm still doing this just as a hobby, but if I am going to continue to grow the channel, then it kind of has to live and stand on its own two legs. So I did need to give it a name. So if you haven't noticed already, I have changed the name to BILLT. It's BILLT. I kind of took a little artistic liberty with both the word BILLT and my name. No, it's not a typo. I understand that T and Y are next to each other on the keyboard, and it would be really easily to type BILLT instead of Billy, but that's not how I came up with it, although I guess it probably would have helped if I had mistyped it. Maybe I would have came up with it sooner. But I felt like it was short and sweet and simple, and it really just fit what I want to do here with these cars, and that's just basically continue to build cars. Unfortunately, like I said, this is a hobby YouTube channel. I don't do this full time. I'm not monetized. I'm not making money. I'm basically just trying to generate content for myself and my friends and my families. Things that I can share with people when they ask me, oh man, like what's done with the car, I can send them a YouTube link and just say, hey, check it all out. That's really why I'm here. That and I like being useful. Some of my element videos that have been more popular have been helpful to other people, as well as some of the salvage title stuff with the S2000, and just a little bit more into the custom stuff with like the hatchback and the Miata. So hopefully I've been able to help people, or at least entertain some of you guys for a minute or two here and there, and hopefully you'll continue to watch, because I would like to keep growing the channel and I do want it to stand on its own. And for the first time, welcome to BILLT. Alright guys, well if you've been watching along from the beginning, then you'll know that one of the first cars that I got and started working on with the channel was the S2000. Now the S2000 was bought as a salvage title car, and I went through the whole process of getting it to a rebuilt title, and that was really one of the bases for me starting the YouTube channel, both to track my progress and help some people out if they found themselves in the same situation I was, where I had this salvage title car and I didn't really know how to get to that rebuilt title. So I have gotten some good feedback on some of those videos, but unfortunately I really just kind of stopped working on the car. And the good thing about that was I haven't had to. The car's actually been driving really well. So I do still drive it like once a week or so, probably 2 or 3 times a month at minimum. And then I've really just been out enjoying it. So luckily we live here in northern Georgia, and there's plenty of roads and mountains and places where I can go and enjoy the car and drive it the way that I like, whether it's just going for a cruise out in the rural area that I live, or just going up to the mountains and really hitting some more aggressive twisty roads. So that's really been it with the S2000. There is some stuff coming up in the future. I do have headlights still. I do have a CR style wing that I bought way back when I first got it. I have a carbon fiber hood that needs to be refurbished, as well as the whole car needs to get wrapped. So those are the few things that are coming up. Definitely stay tuned, and if it's something you want to see, drop me a comment, message me on Instagram, whatever it is, and I'll go ahead and push myself to try to get a little bit more into that. It is probably my favorite car that I own right now. And I really just, I do want to get more work done on it, but I've just been pulled in different directions between work and the YouTube channel and the other cars themselves. So hopefully I'll get back into that soon, but let's go ahead and move on to the next vehicle. Alright, so the next vehicle that I want to touch on here is the Mazda Miata. Now, if you've been watching, you'll know that we've really started digging into the interior. I'm working on some custom interior parts, particularly a rear center console, and a couple of other pieces to kind of just really improve the quality of life within the car, and really just to do something different. So this is a car that I am working on with my wife, so we really try to only work on it when we're both there, we're both present, and we can get it done together. But ultimately, there are some things where I probably will start doing a little bit more when she's not around, or vice versa, things that I can hand off to her when I'm not around and she can keep working on. But there's definitely going to be a video coming out on this car shortly, so stay tuned if you want to see more of the interior. As of yet, we've basically replaced the soft top and we've started working on the rear center console, and we really are starting to make some progress in the rear parcel shelf area. Next thing we'll jump into is finishing the heated seats, getting everything reinstalled, and then hopefully starting to drive the car a lot more again. So definitely stay tuned. There's more videos coming, and this car is going to continue to grow and be something that we work on together. Now the next car I want to talk about is probably one of the biggest projects that I've really jumped into, especially recently, is the hatchback. So I really haven't posted anything recently on the hatchback, and that's mostly because I haven't really done much. I started digging into the transmission a little bit. I've replaced some bearings and replaced some washers and stuff like that, some of the little stuff. Overall, the gears and everything look good, like the gear sets. But basically, I'm just at the reassembly point where once I get it reassembled, it should be in a good spot. And then I can move on to things like the engine and the engine bay and wiring harnesses and all that stuff. So there is some outside influences with this car that have kind of kept me from moving forward, and I'll get to them shortly. But basically this car is where it was probably a few months ago when I finished. So the front suspension is brand new and back together. I started running some of the stainless lines, and I was thinking about working into the rear suspension, but I've been kind of hung up on like the engine and the transmission because I'm not really 100% sure what I'm doing with that yet. And I guess that really takes us into our next car. So that really brings me to the last car that I'm going to talk about in this video. Well, the Honda Element doesn't really have any updates. I haven't done any work to it, and it doesn't need anything. So basically the last car that I'm going to talk about is the 8th gen Civic Si. So let me be as concise with this car as I can. When I talked about outside forces affecting my thoughts with the hatchback, this is one of them. Basically, I'm at a crossroads where I basically have 4 options with this car, and that is to sell the car, probably for less money than I would like, but probably that's just what it's worth. I've enjoyed it while I had it. I had my fun with it. I did my things. I made my videos. So part of me just feels like maybe my time with the car is done. Time to let someone else have it and someone move forward with it that is gonna give it the attention that it really deserves, and then I get to keep the focus bandwidth that I've been using on it. So that's the first option. The second option is to obviously keep it and keep working on it and fix it. There are the couple of glaring issues that I see. Obviously the clutch has been something that's been an issue the entire time. The exterior could use like a little bit of touch up. There's some spots where like the paint is chipping or clear coat or whatever. So there's the exterior touch up, and then the other things are like little stuff like, you know, maybe some bushings and mounts and wheel bearings and stuff like that are just starting to get worn. I've already taken care of some brakes, did the front brakes recently, and I also changed out the exhaust. The exhaust was just so loud. Even with the silencer in it, it was just still loud, and I really just wanted to go back to OEM. So I was able to trade somebody for the OEM exhaust plus some cash for my aftermarket exhaust, and that was kind of a win-win. So I got to put some cash back in my pocket, and I got to basically hear myself think in the car again. So that brings me to the third and fourth option, which is the third option is just parting the car out, which financially probably makes the most sense. The car is probably worth more as a collection of parts than it is as an entire vehicle. Kind of similar to what I saw with the hatchback before I decided to jump back into it. But parting it out would be a really long and labor intensive, and I'd have to store parts for a long time and put them somewhere, and really have to, in order for it to be financially worth it, I'd have to be really thorough about what things I was parting out and which things I was keeping and which things I was getting rid of and selling and scrapping or whatever. So that brings me to my fourth option, which is the most intriguing option in my opinion, which is basically cannibalize the car and put the entire drivetrain into the hatchback. So the biggest lift there is that everything would be backwards. Just everything on the B series to the K series is rotated about 180 degrees. So it would be a really big lift to kind of just flip everything. I would have to do more research and really figure out what that's going to take before I really commit to that. but that's really been one of the biggest hangups between me working on the B series stuff and getting it back into the car. So I really wanted to go over those options. Like I said, there's really not any updates. Otherwise, I think I'm leaning towards selling the car. It's just the easiest option. It'll put some money in my pocket and it'll get one less thing off my plate that I have to worry about. So moving on, basically, like I said, the Element doesn't really have any updates. It maybe has a little bit of an exhaust leak, but other than that, like, it runs well and it feels fine, and I'm pretty good with where that's at. So that being said, let's go ahead and we'll take a moment and wrap this video up. Alright guys, now that we're at the end of the video, I just wanted to take a moment and thank everybody again for watching. Please feel free to drop me your feedback, what you like, what you didn't like, stuff that you want to see more of, less of, like me sitting in the garage and talking for 10 minutes, and how maybe you don't want to see any more of that. So I'm hopefully just kidding, but seriously, I do value feedback and I don't want to keep you here any longer than you have to. So don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and we'll catch you in the next video.